3, 2.
What's good, everybody? You know what time it is? It is time for Elevated Vibes right here on IntellectualRadio.com. Now, as you all probably know, you know the deal. Oh. You know the deal. You know what to do. Hit us up on the line 708-223-8953, or you can always hit us up on Facebook Live. All right, everybody, before we get deep into the show, because we already told you what we're going to talk about, but before we get deep into the show, we got to give love and shouts out. Well, we're going to do three things. We're going to pay a moment of respect for those who passed away on September 11th. And now also we're going to give love and shout out to two of the greats, Mr. James Earl Jones.
Yep.
And Mr. Frankie Beverly. Got to give love to them because, I mean...
Silky soul singer.
You're right. They've given so much time and blessings to us to where we can be entertained, enjoy, and just love.
I mean, it's just rarely. I mean, first I speak on Maze, Frankie Beverly and Maze, classic songs. Songs that we all grew up with, that our parents grew up with, that seem to be multi-generational. Songs that danced in your spirit. Like, I don't know all of their songs, but I know, their greatest hits, Silky Soul Singer and other similar songs. But, just fantastic music. And to think that our children won't be able to enjoy that music, for a long time on this show, I've talked about the importance of music in our lives and how it affects our culture. And the thing is that music defines our culture. And we came up during a time, the 80s and 90s, of the R&B singer and, romanticizing this side, this part of love, that seems to be at odds with what is going on now. So there's that. Regarding, I don't know, the one, the James kind of hit me hard. That one kind of hit me hard.
There's so much that he gave. So
I mean,
and he's the voice of Darth Vader, man. He's
dude.
It's like the most iconic villain that we have in America.
Right.
I mean, in the world, like Darth Vader is like the number one bad guy. If you look at the list of villains, Darth Vader is, but who can forget Simba? Everything that the light touches is ours.
Or King Joffrey.
Coming to America.
Yeah, King. Yeah. Let them wait. I'm talking to my son.
Right.
It's funny is that we kind of romanticize this voice as what we think our father should sound like. If you think of the voice of God, you think of James Earl Jones and Morgan Freeman. Like you just think as that's who you think of when you think of it. And so and I find James Earl Jones' story absolutely fascinating. That that he was mute up until like for 12 years.
Of course.
And then he had a stuttering problem. And one of his teachers wrote a poem, and the teacher didn't believe that he had wrote the poem, or she wanted him to prove that he wrote the poem. And she made him cite it out in class, and he was able to do it even though it was stuttering. But he overcame this stuttering challenge.
Yeah, and it just shows you that you can. I know it may, you have these brick walls that always fall against you and all that, but you can break through them. You can overcome them. You just have to keep trying at it. Is it easy? No. And I bet he had some of the hardest times, but you see at the tail end what he accomplished. Yeah. So
I mean, like I said, you can't. I mean, as much as I love him as Darth Vader, I just loved him in Lion King.
right.
You know?
Then you got to remember, was it Claudine and a couple other things? So
Jack Johnson.
right. Exactly.
All of those things, and
right.
you know, he was in Clear and Present Danger. You
Of
know,
course.
those movies.
Right.
So just a symbolic person. One of those times where you can say, "Job well done."
Right.
Rest in peace. You not only contributed to the culture, you contributed to the human diaspora.
Yes.
And he accomplished that which we all dream of accomplishing.
Right.
We all pursue excellence, we all pursue exceptionality, but he did something else. He became a legend.
Right. No doubt. Anything still?
Yeah, and he definitely put his own flavor into the characters that he played. You know, not only did you know it was his voice, but you knew the kind of energy he brought to the characters that he presented to us.
Right. No doubt. Of course. All right. Let's get into everything, everybody. We're talking about last night's. I'm gonna be kind and still call it a debate. I mean, to me, honestly, truthfully, it was a beat down. But you know, because there are those who, you know, they're down with the other side. I want to give them their moment to, you know, if you wish to comment or call in 708-223-8953. We want to hear your feelings about last night's debate, some of the things that went on and so forth. So saying that and being that, gentlemen, a number of people saying that I'm just gonna say how I feel. The spanking started with the handshake in the beginning. Your thoughts?
Agreed. I think it wasn't a spanking. I think she was just trying to show that she was not going to be intimidated or bullied by him. You know, it's one thing when the bully, you know, has to confront, you know, the person that they've, you know, been bullying. And she came out and showed that she was not going to be intimidated. And he showed his true colors, that when confronted with someone who can match your energy, you know, and who's not going to tolerate it, he cowardice, you know, and she called out his cowardice. You know, she called out his lies. And this is the kind of debate that we were hoping Joe Biden would have. And even to this day, I think had this been the second debate, it does not appear to me that he still would have been up for that fight. You know, there's something about the vigor that she showed, the vitality, is the reason why he's complaining that they have to start all over. You know, and that's because, you know, he was able to, you know, punch, bully, whatever, over Joe. Joe explains, you know, and that's no good when you're going against someone like him who has a bunch of cliches, who can lie at the drop of a hat.
But to be this man of, I'm being nice, but I'm going to say like this again, a con artist, he was simply baited into just, you know, falling all over himself. I'm be very honest. You know, do you all feel that he could have been a little bit stronger on the fact that
No.
I mean,
I know what your question is.
I'm trying to be nice, and like I said, I'm trying to give a little option to that other side, even though they don't have a foot to stand on, and he actually showed it. But to be simply baited like that, I mean, it was almost like you got the lawyer versus the adolescent.
Yeah, I think that's what I could caught from it when she came out and shook hands with him. I think that she was telling him that this is about to be a master class on how to be a professional and how to be an adult, how to be a leader. And I bet he didn't even expect that she would try to shake his hand. It was probably the furthest thing from his mind that she would even try to shake his hand.
Right.
Because in his mind, they're adversaries, right? Even, I mean, like, they're enemies, not working from the same, not trying to have the same goal to help the nation and try to be the best leader that they can. To him, it was probably me against her. And that's all he was thinking about.
I mean, I think Trump knows what works for him. And regardless of what happened last night, nobody's minds was changed. There may be a few people in the middle, a few people who are questioning, but those who are in his corner, regardless of his performance, are still going to vote for him. So nothing changed in terms. I don't think he lost votes last night. I just don't think he picked up any. And the fact is that they're still showing that they're in the statistical dead heat. Now, the bigger question is why they're in the statistical dead heat when, I would have just asked on a question of 500,000 Americans died while you were president under COVID. Can you explain that? That's more than ever died in the Civil War, Vietnam War, things like that. Tables are empty with aunts and uncles and fathers and children because your government failed to have in place a situation that was given to you by the former president. Mr. President, can you explain that? Those are questions we need to ask. But here's the thing, and, we've talked about this. It does us no good to villainize the other side, all right? Somehow we have to figure out, because to us sitting here, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you want this again?
Right.
Who in a God right's mind, not trying to villainize the other side again, wants it again? There's this theory that the economics was better under Trump, and that's simply not true. Our economics, and you also have to remember, when Democrats come into office, they're mopping up the Republicans' mess. When Obama came into office, we had to
clean up
Bush's mess.
Yes.
When Clinton came into office, we had to clean up Bush's mess. Right. So Daddy Bush's mess,
right.
So the only time a Republican has come in after a Democrat has messed up was Carter. And when Reagan came in, because remember, Carter's whole thing was the gas crisis and the Iran crisis, all right? For the young folks out there,
but truthfully, Reagan didn't really clean up nothing.
But he gave the illusion. He gave the illusion of the Iran deal. Yeah, and you got to remember, I don't remember it, but there were gas lines under Carter because of the OPEC crisis, right? So, even though Carter set all that stuff into place, Reagan got the credit. Like literally the exchange, that if you listen to documentaries, Carter set up the exchange. Reagan did what Trump did, said, don't do that exchange. He came in and said, don't do that exchange for the prisoners. And that's why at 12:02, the Iranian hostages were released because of the back dealing. Yes. And Reagan got the credit for it, right? But if you look at our history, again, Bush screwed up, inflation and all of that stuff. And then Clinton came in, right? And we had a boom under Clinton.
Correct.
Don't forget the economic crisis. When Baby Bush was in the office, right? We had the housing crisis. It was about to collapse. Obama is the one who said we got to flood these banks with money. Obama is the one who said we got to save Ford. Obama is the one who said we had to save the big three and started flooding the money and told Nancy and all of them to pass the money. And we got to save the crisis, right? So then who comes in and saves Trump? Well, Biden comes in, right? And part of it is we have short-term memory. People don't remember. Like literally 2021, like look at TV. There'll be a part where our grandchildren will be asking, why was everybody wearing a mask, granddaddy? Oh, baby, that was during the COVID time. We couldn't go out. We all had to wear a mask.
Right.
But I say all of that to say here we are again, and we have Biden. We want to continue the economic policy, and I get it. Inflation sucks. There's inflation, and then there's how people feel.
Right.
And people, even though inflation is down, people still don't feel like their dollar is going as far. And we don't go with facts; we go with how we feel. So, but why would you want to go back to this man who wants to cut corporate taxes, drive up middle taxes, wants a tariff, 100% tariff on American products? I don't know economics. I'm not the brightest economic person in the world. But if you start tariffing other people's goods, well, how much is my avocado going to cost?
And that's what I was about to go into, because the thing is, a lot of people don't, have a lot of knowledge on what this tariff thing can do. And it was already stated that this 20% charge that he wants to upgrade on tariffs and all that will cost us about $80 billion.
You start a war. What do you think other countries are going to do with your goods?
Right.
You going to charge us? We're going to charge you.
Right.
And so what you going to do when your avocado costs $25?
Right.
What you going to do when your Toshiba costs $2,500? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then like what she said last night was this man farmed out chips to China. Like he gave away chips, like your military. And this is and we gotta let the Republicans let go of this dogged determination, like they are the military people. They are not. They are not. You had the senator block the nominations for all the people, the officers getting promoted, right? You had the other because of abortion, right? You had this president desecrate. That should be enough right there for any soldier or any person who has served in the armed services. The fact that this man desecrated this the remains of a soldier at Arlington Heights. And then when he got called out on it, goes to war with the army and talking about, this and all that. And you just like, are you for real?
Did you all happen to see the look on his face when she let him know that military leaders called him a disgrace?
They were shocked at his lack of knowledge. Like, I know all of them come in and say, oh, we got to school this new person. Wait, this dude don't even know where China is?
No.
He don't know where Russia is? He like his rudimentary knowledge of the world is horrible. And you're just like, I get it. We don't like elites in this country, right? We use this word elite like it's a bad thing unless you're about to have heart surgery. Then everybody wants the elite person. If you got to have brain surgery, you the elite person? What in your class of 296, where did you graduate? 313. Oh, now you want the elite, right? This man lost a casino in Atlantic City. Now, let's assume that someone, me, you, and him got this common sense that God gave a billy goat, and all I got to do is turn on the lights and let the gambling machines run. How do you lose money in Atlantic City?
Because it's in his DNA.
That's like I'm gonna jump in the ocean and not get wet.
It is in that man's DNA. His mama and daddy, there's so many schemes, cons, and everything else that they were able to leave their children around $1 billion.
But here's the thing: he swindled his own nephew out of his inheritance. His nephew had a son that is, I think, either cerebral palsy, but severely disabled.
Yes.
And this nephew went to Trump and said, hey, can you give me some money to help me take care of my son? And Trump said, are you kidding? He doesn't know who you are. He doesn't even talk. You should just let him die, or something to that effect.
Well, you shouldn't be shocked. This is the same man that buried one of his wives on the golf course
and wants to sleep with his daughter. But anyway, so we're sidetracked. We still have to find a way, and I'm not sure what that way is. I'm not sure when we're dealing in an alternate reality, how to reach into your reality and pull you over and say, this is what's going to happen. This is what is happening. And we have to find a way. And I'm not sure how we do that. I'm not sure how we do that.
Like, I had an interesting conversation today with somebody on the other side, right?
Yes, sir.
And it was like this
What's
guy.
the reason? What's their reason?
Okay, so I think that it's just an inability to see yourself in somebody else's shoes, right? He was a white guy, right?
Okay.
And he was saying he didn't know who to vote for. He knows that Trump is a liar, right? But he still doesn't know who to vote for because he doesn't like the immigrant situation. So I'm like, okay, but I can tell that he doesn't know like all the background information, right? He's not very informed about the immigrant situation. He's in a bubble and he's talking to his friends, and they all they're all talking about the immigrant situation, hearsay, and about the
First of all,
eating.
let's deal with that.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know,
Does Ohio have a problem with cats and dogs? Because I want to know who's eating these dogs and cats. Like, do we need to send our animals to Ohio because he saw it on the news that they're eating their dogs and cats?
Ridiculous.
I wanted to know what news station put that out there like that, because I don't believe that's what happened.
Fox News.
It's definitely not what's happening. Those are not even illegal immigrants. They're documented immigrants, right?
Well, first of all, the city manager said there is no credible evidence of any problems of immigrants or anybody else eating dogs and cats. Right. So that's one. Two, the last alien that we know that ate cats came on Channel 5, and he was called Alf. Right? So he must be watching some old clips.
I gotta give you props for remembering that.
Well, Alf like cats, right?
Right.
So, but here's my thing, and this is my response. I understand that you're concerned with the immigration problem. That is a truly legitimate issue, okay? But I have two responses for that. Let's assume that we're on the ship and the ship has a fire on it, right? And we also have food running low, all right? Which of those is the more dire situation, the fire or the food? And you're going to say the fire, right? We got to put the fire out because if that, right? The immigration is like the food issue, right? Mm-hmm. That's low on the chamber. Right. What we're talking about is economics here. This man giving corporate cuts, he don't care about you, right? He don't care about that, right? The immigration issue, yes. We had an opportunity to fix it. This man went against it and campaigned against it and told his people to come against it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So there's that. So when you tell me that you don't know who to vote for, then vote your pocketbook. Vote your pocketbook, right? Like literally look and say, whose policies are going to benefit me more? This man wants to put tariffs on every product coming in the United States.
Wait. Like you said, vote the pocketbook, but vote the long-term pocketbook.
Even his short-term.
Hold on, because you have so many people out here. Oh, I got a stimulus check. Oh, what do you do?
Well, that was Bush. Remember? He gave that 100, 200, 500.
No, it was Trump too.
It was Trump. It was Trump during COVID.
He did.
And this is what a lot of people. I got a stimulus check. That don't mean nothing, man.
And it's like, don't you realize the circumstances in which that happened?
Right.
They're just giving you your money back that you're gonna pay for taxes,
right? Because you're gonna pay it back triple fold anyway,
right? So
it's like people don't put stuff together. The gas was cheap because nobody was driving. Everybody was at home. That's why you can drive all over the place, right? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, the economy was so good. Yeah, it was good because people weren't active like they usually are. So
yeah, and so that's my issue. So the fact is the needle did not move last night, and despite what it did was shore up for the Democrats, because we were the ones who were hurting. We were just sitting there like, I guess, yeah, you know what I'm saying? All she did today was cement, maybe encourage, maybe especially with the Taylor Swift endorsement. No, and that matters.
It does.
We need young people to come out and vote like they did for Obama. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely does.
We need that. Again, and I was listening to some other person. Black people especially, are again called to be the conscience of America, right? Like we have to come out and vote. We have to save democracy, and I know that drives the ear of certain people. But every time the states have been on the cliff, of falling into the abyss. It has been black people who have served as the conscience of the United States that says no. You know, we have been that bellwether, you know, of how we do things, because we tend to think, to what you said, to be able to put ourselves into other people's positions and understand. And even though that may not be my experience, I have suffered enough in my life to understand that even though that's your pain, there's nothing to stop that from being my pain, because everything that has been done discriminatory against other populations has been done to people of color. You know what I'm saying? So to your point, Dick Cheney against gay rights. Guess who came out gay? His daughters. Guess what Dick Cheney is now? Ain't no problem.
Right.
Nancy Reagan against what? Research for STEM. Stem cell research. Yeah. Guess who developed Alzheimer's? Ronnie. Guess who's now looking into STEM research? You know? So the thing is, it shouldn't have to happen to me in order for me to have empathy for you. Right. The idea is that empathy is the ability to empathize with people's pain in the absence of me actually having the experience.
Right.
And so I'm trying to have empathy for this other side, but when your reality is so sharply drastic and different than mine, it's hard to have empathy, because your pain is not based on reality. It's based on perception. And if it's based on perception, you got to change your perception. And I'm not sure how to do that.
Now, I know you say that there probably won't be any switching back and forth between who you support, but do you think Donald Trump's performance last night is going to keep people home? They're like looking at his performance and saying, you know what? I'm not going out for that guy. Look, this guy's an idiot.
No.
You think the same people will come out and he's not going to?
I think people are more likely, and I've said this before, to vote their hatred than to vote their likes. Mm-hmm. When people are motivated by hate, yeah, they come out. Just think about it. How often do you leave a Yelp review for a good restaurant? Right. But when you hate that restaurant, service sucked, the food was cold, da.
You know what? I got to do that better. Somebody else gonna do that.
But see, the thing is, as well, you know, like Kamala said, he does the same old playbook. Because a lot of things he was doing was the same old fear mongering. You heard him talking about, oh, you're going to take away your guns, and no, they're killing babies and all this other mess.
Because people vote their fears. People, that's what it literally does. They vote their fears. And I get it. You know, they come in for your guns.
If you come with the truth, how in the heck can you just go with the same playbook? I mean, just a person with any kind of good common sense, you know, how can you go with the same fear mongering that this man is doing that none of it's true? Because I mean, look the baby killing. Who in their right mind is going to kill a baby that was just born? Who?
Yeah, even the reporter said
if you said enough, people, what did Abraham Lincoln say? You can fool some of the people all of the time. You can fool all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time.
But it shouldn't be nobody out there that doggone foolish.
Yeah. Come on, dude.
It shouldn't be.
That was kind of hilarious. That was kind of hilarious.
It was hilarious to the mob, but people are going to believe
the moderator said, you know what, to be fair, we're not doing that in any states. You're
right.
not killing
and
the
I
baby
agree.
after they're born.
You can't see that, but somebody will believe that crap.
Yeah.
Why did calls to the CDC go up after this man said you can drink bleach?
I forgot about that one.
Right, and you want to tell me that people are smart?
Yes.
No, individuals are smart. People are dumb. When you get people into a group mentality, the mentality sinks to that of the lowest common denominator, because we all like to fit in. And if the person has a loud enough voice, and even though you saying, "Yo, aren't we headed to the cliff?" and you're like, "Yeah, so why are we going?" Instead of someone stopping and saying, "Hey, we're going the wrong way," we risk being ostracized. It is our natural tendency to all want to fit into a group. We are, group animals. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why we sink to the lowest denominator. And so therefore, if people think if they say it loud enough and repeat it multiple times, that becomes true. Like I said, why did calls to the CDC go up? The poison control when this man said drink bleach. Now, I sitting here as individuals say, this dude just told us to drink bleach.
Well, he is the president, so.
But nothing in life exists without an opposite, right? If there's day, there's night, right? If there's up, there's down.
That's absolutely
There's
true.
3 people right now sitting around the table saying, he did say drink bleach. There's 3 opposites of us right now, right? Because life exists in parallel. So you sitting there saying, yeah, why do you drink bleach? And one of them was like, how much should we drink? Right? Right? Like, we all sitting there. We were all sitting there. Literally, we all sat there and said, did this man just say drink bleach?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you look at the doctor's face? When she was sitting there, she was like, please don't put me on camera. Did this man just say drink?
Yeah.
Like, because there's a shock. Like, did the president say drink bleach? And I know she was thinking, I need to leave the room right now and go to and tell these people. Right? So you said enough, you repeated enough, and fiction becomes fact. Somewhere it gets printed. And we have this belief that if it's written, if it's on the internet, you know, we don't believe scientists. We discredit, again, the elites. You know, scientists don't know everything. Right, but they know more than you.
That's true.
You know,
Right.
they went to school for this. Part of education is the inherent knowledge and passing on of that knowledge so that humans can advance, right? We don't always have to start off with, you know, starting back, you know, but there are those who say, well, scientists don't know everything and science can't solve everything. That's true. That is true. Science has never claimed to solve everything, right? And science is updated as we get more information, right? But I do know this much. Ain't nothing gonna ever change between now and to the day we die where bleach is safe to drink.
Agreed. Now I'm gonna throw another thing at y'all. A lot on the right side talk about how great life would be under him once again, and you know how great of a president he would be. But then yet he idolizes Vladimir Putin, Viktor Orban, and
Turkey.
and I'm not even thinking about him. The other guy from North Korea.
Kim Jong-un.
Thank you. Yeah. Now, these 3 gentlemen are either dictators or authoritarians.
Same there.
A dictator is a little more, but where do they believe that life will be better for them? Because it will not be the American life that they are used to, good or bad. It will be 10 times worse.
Well, you got to convince them that it is going to be worse. But for them, you know, eliminating the Department of Education, we get rid of all, you know, these, you know, elite people, and, you know, get rid of all of this fornication and all of this stuff, and, you know, control a woman's body and all of that stuff. They think of days of yore of, you know, I don't even know if it's the 1950s or 1960s, you know, these roaring times, you know, it when you see yourself as being part of the privilege and think you can derive a benefit from the privilege, then of course that's what you want, you know?
And I definitely think that when they are presented with these scenarios, they think that it's going to be better for me, not them. You know what I mean? They're going to have to deal with it, not me. You know, I'm out of this. I'm going to be fine, and you know, the consequences are not going to hit me. That's what, at least that's what I think they're thinking. You know, not that, you know, when they start taking away freedom of speech, then they will be hit also. You know.
You know, there's a saying. They said. First they came for the blacks, and then they came for the Jews, and then they came for the Asians, and then they came for my neighbors, and then they came for me, or something like that. And I'm paraphrasing, but you get the sentiment of it, right. You know.
And nobody's left to help.
Yeah, nobody's left to help.
Right.
So that's what it is, you know. And so you're sitting there and you're saying, like, what do you think is going to be better? Like, and most of them say it's the economics are going to be better, and you're like, no, it's really not. Like, you're paying all of these, you're paying more in taxes because he's giving tax breaks to the rich, and what people really want, and this is where I think they get skewed, is they want a champion for themselves, right? For some reason, they see themselves in Donald Trump, that, he is the embodiment of the American dream. He pulled himself up by the bootstraps.
But how is their mind that misconstrued? I mean, you got a man who, I'm sorry, his daddy gave him $400 million to screw up.
Rich, they don't see that. They reject the premise of that question.
By your bootstraps?
They reject the premise of the question. They buy into the narrative that this man pulled himself up by the bootstraps, right? And that he is Donald Trump. And to our fault, it's partly our fault because we celebritorize our millionaires. He is a celebrity, right?
Yes.
And, but for him running for president and all of that stuff, we would think Donald Trump was genius. He had the book, he got the plane, he had the accoutrements of what we aspire to be regarding our millionaires and billionaires. It was only when he got exposed, when he ran for the president, you just sitting there like, wait a minute, how did he do? How you got what? But before that, this man was on what? Of The Apprentice, right? Everybody loved Donald Trump when he was on The Apprentice. It was only after he started running for president.
We all know you could lie your way, you could lie through TV and so forth. And it's shown that this man has been lying with everything. And just as she said, 81 million people fired this man. Why would you want him back?
Again.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. Okay, so one good thing about Donald Trump, I'm going to say this one good thing that I can think
I
of.
got to sit up for this. Come on.
You don't know what he's going to do. He doesn't care what Congress wants. He doesn't care what anybody wants.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so
true.
If Kamala Harris goes into the government and she tries to work within the system, that's going to drive people crazy because
they want instant results.
They want instant results. Like if we have a problem, right, with anything, right, Donald Trump would say, "Hey, we're going to do this," and he doesn't. They will lose their minds. They'll try to file all kind of lawsuits, and in the meanwhile, it's getting done. Even with the fence, right? He's like, build a fence. It's like, no, we're not building the fence. Oh yeah, y'all building the fence. We don't have any money. We're not giving you money. Okay, I'm gonna take money from the military. I'm gonna take money from here. I'm gonna take money from there.
He's their champion. You're right. He's their champion.
And she should go in there. She should go in there with a little bit of that. Seriously, if something needs to be done, Congress is not gonna let her get anything done.
Well, that's not true. If we can hold on to the Senate, and that's part of the reason Biden had to go, because we knew he may win, but we were going to lose the House and we were going to lose the Senate. And that was a wrap. Like, Joe, we're done, right? Because we know we're probably going to have to replace one Supreme Court justice, right? And if they control the House and the Senate, that's a wrap, right? We'll never have a balanced court ever again after that, right? And then if Biden had won, we would definitely lost that. So we were looking at losing all three branches of government, or two branches of government, and just having Biden as the bulwark, right? And the president can't do nothing. Every time Biden has passed significant legislation, it has been with either the House or with the Senate. Mm-hmm. If we can take the Senate and we can hold on to the Senate and take the House. So in the House, we only need 4 now. I think it's 2 or 3 or 4, and I forget how many is up. But we can take the House and hold on to the Senate. The Democrats this time have to come out swinging for the fences. And not worry about that.
They won't do it.
I know, but they got to swing. Like
Barack Obama had that opportunity,
and he
had a super majority.
We got Obamacare, and that's what it cost us.
We didn't get universal health care.
It was a bridge. We lost this. We lost Congress. We took that. Remember his word, shellacking, because of Obamacare. Now sometimes when you got, it's kind of like, in our video games when you got the superpower up, it's only gonna last for a second.
Right.
So you gotta just swing for the Republicans do it all the time. They get in, run the table.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So the minute they get in, it should be a progressive slate. Like, we impeaching Thomas, right? Get him off. Convince the other couple of justices to step down. Right.
I wish.
We're going to strengthen the Federal Trade Commission and start looking into all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to pass Supreme Court judicial reform. Right. We're going to pass the John Lewis Civil Rights Act. Right. We're going to make it so that we're going to take dark money out of politics. We can pass all of this. Right.
Yeah.
We got to pass. But see, here's the thing. The Democrats got scared when we did the shellacking. Right. Instead of learning the lesson that, hey, regardless of what you're going to do, you're going to lose one or the other. So you might as well swing for the fences.
Might as well get everything you can get.
Get everything you can get from day one.
Yeah.
Day one. We start simple. Impeach Clarence Thomas, right? I want to know how he got that RV. We're going to pass Supreme Court revisions, all right? Now, I know it ain't sexy, it ain't pretty, but you get your people going. It's like, impeach Clarence Thomas, right? So we got that. 2, we're going to pass the John Lewis Rights Act because we've been asking for that, right? We're going to pass acts so that these southern states now have to report back to the federal department, Justice Department, about their changes in the civil rights, right? Because the only thing we got out of this last Congress is in 2023, they outlawed lynching.
Right.
Now lynching is a hate crime. Well, who'd have thought that? Thank God for the small things.
Gerrymandering in there.
The gerrymandering.
Yeah.
We want police reform.
Yeah.
We're going to start tracking gun crimes. Yeah. We can set all it. We're going to pass the assault rifle ban.
Yeah.
We're going to modify the assault rifle ban. Prayers and hopes ain't going to do it. But here's the thing. Like you said, they ain't going to do it. What we going to get? We're going to get streets and potholes.
Yeah,
pretty much.
They're going to play it safe.
So even if she does swing for the fences, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they try to after 2 years, they try to come back and they say, you know what, we're going to run on them doing all of those things, right? And they get a lot of seats in the Senate and they get a lot of seats in the House. She can still veto all of that stuff that they're trying to reverse, right?
You talking about if the Republicans get it?
Yeah, because it's gonna be a backlash, right?
I think
it would be a backlash.
I think if we lose anything, I think we get the House, but we lose the Senate. I think that's the issue. And the only problem with losing the Senate is the Supreme Court, because the justices come through that. So I can easily see a split Congress or legislative body where the Republicans control the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
But my hope is that she has so revitalized the ballot that carries over to the down ballots, and that's why Biden had to go, because we could have literally Biden, we won, but look what it cost us. We lost the Senate and we lost the House, and by losing the Senate and the House, you actually lose the Supreme Court. So you get that, what I'm saying? So you need to reinvigorate your Justice Department, and it's not only that. If we lose that, you lose the war in Ukraine, regardless of how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying? You lose, and I to this day don't understand how you justify the war in Israel, but not justify the war in the Ukraine. So there are significant implications. God forbid we have another COVID or something else. There's always going to be something that defines a presidency, something that the president can't count on. How do you think China will feel if Trump gets in as it relates to Taiwan? Do you think they'll feel emboldened, right? And not only that, China taking over Taiwan, now you got Vladimir not sending, the United States not sending weapons to Ukraine. So now Vladimir is emboldened, right? And so you have this, just look at it. And I mean, I'm not a history scholar or whatever, but isn't this how World War II started?
Yeah.
When these dictators feel
got
emboldened,
emboldened, and they try to make moves.
Then they try to make moves.
Different countries.
Yeah,
that's how it started.
That's
how it started, without a doubt.
But people can't see past their own interests. So I say all I have to say again is, if you don't know who to vote for, vote your pocketbook. Whose pocketbook? Who? Not what you feel. Just this man said he's gonna put tariffs, right? I know every product in my house is from either Japan or China.
Yeah.
Right?
Good portion of mine.
Right? All your electronics, your iPhone, your Android, all of that stuff. You let me know if you want to pay $3,500 for your 24-inch TV.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Real talk. But no, I'm gonna throw this at y'all too. Now, a lot of the pundits are saying that Kamala's weakness was that she switched on things like fracking and so forth. All right. If that was either Tim or Mike, and you switched on some certain policies such as fracking, let's just throw it out there, and they're trying to hit you on it, what is your defense?
National security. We need the energy. And I changed my opinion depending on the situation. You know, I'm flexible. That's what I would say. I mean, not in those words, but that's what I would say. You know, depending on the situation, depending on the economic situation, I'm flexible on energy policy.
Only a fool commits to one ideal all of his life. As we evolved, as we change, and as we learn, as what you said, opinions change. When I was up until college, I believed in the death penalty. I believed that, vengeance and retribution was right. Eye for eye, tooth for a tooth. Once I learned about the implementation of the death penalty and how it is biased towards people of color, and when you look at our justice system and look at what we call justice, when you look at how people have died, who gets chosen to be put to death, I evolved. I changed my opinion. So I want a person who has the ability to learn, is not committed to what is popular or what is right, but based on what, again, experts and those around him say. The president is not supposed to be an expert on everything, but he's supposed to know where to go get the expert advice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You don't listen to the consciousness or the people who came up with Project 2025 and talk about we're going to eliminate the Department of Education. Why? But I know why they want to eliminate it, because once you control the knowledge, you control the people. That is the only reason. There's a reason why Shakespeare said in his famous play, kill all the lawyers. Why? Because lawyers are the guardians of your rights. You kill all of them and nobody can tell you what their rights are.
Right.
So when there is a problem or a hindrance with what you want to do, authoritarianism, knowledge, education, you kill those who are responsible for, ensuring those rights. That's what happened in Israel when he took away power from the Supreme Court and the justices over there. And they protesting like crazy, right?
Yes.
And so the point is that once power is taken, it is rarely given back.
That's true. They ain't trying to let it go.
So, and that's how you start to concentrate power into one person. Here's the thing that is scary. And as we go off the air, the man was incompetent before, right? I mean, when I say incompetent, I'm being gracious. He has now learned, or those around him have learned, the machinations of how government works. These people didn't know when they started last time that they had to bring their own people. What's Ivanka's husband's name? The one who's
Jared.
He was like, oh, all of these people stand, and someone had to tell him, no, you got to hire your own people. That's what Project 2025 is about. It's about sycophants. It's not about knowledge. It's not about who's the best for this. They want that weatherman who's going to draw the track and says it's not hitting Louisiana. All right?
Yep.
So
sure.
That's right, everybody. So, hey, keep this conversation going. Let's keep dropping knowledge to each other. All right? Make sure you hit us up through our email, the@gmail.com. This is Elevated Vibes. We will catch y'all next week.
Right.
peace.
I have a question. I don't want to interrupt y'all. I don't know how y'all feel about the fact that